Today, I want to share with you my refugee recipe of life. My life is a recipe for joy, love, and hope. Follow me, don't worry, and you get the idea. It was a cold day, dark outside, full of commotion everywhere, gunshot flying on top of my head as I was holding on so tight on my mother's hips, scared for my life. Not knowing what's going to happen to us as we fled a devastating war, ducking bullet, rumbling crowd looking for a way to save. We ran into a certain building not knowing it was a family home. They saw how terrified we were and accepted us to hide in the refuge. We were all afraid of our lives, unsure if we will make it through the next day. While we were there, that family gave us so much love. They gave us food, water to shower, clothes to cover our head. It was a great pleasure to see my oldest grandmother who couldn't run to save her life with us. I looked at my family, held on to my mother, and held strength through her. To this day, wherever that family is, you are God's sent gift to us. This tragic event made me so ill. Everywhere was full of dead bodies, people dying, parents trying to save their dead babies. We had to walk on deceased people to get to the hospital, which was 2 miles away. A horrific scene. The scene before me was unrecognizable. The sound of gunshot and sadness, blood filled everywhere with destruction. I became so numb to the sound of gunshot, the violence, not knowing if we'll make it alive. My mother had to distract me from what was happening, so she sewed me one of the best dolls with African fabric. Because I was traumatized, the only friend I had were my dolls, and I wanted to play house with them. I wanted to feed my dolls food, so I took an empty can of tomato paste that I made as a pot, 3 pieces of charcoal, lighting fluid, lighter, salt, oil, leftover scrap from my mother's kitchen, and there I had my very first culinary experience, feeding my dolls. Between the family that took us in and feeding my dolls, that's when I learned this first lesson I want to share with you today. You can always find joy in the midst of chaos. Joy is what I found in feeding my dolls. Growing up, we lived well. We were a bonded family. My father was a diplomat for Sebasigari. The term oil started with the pain my family had to endure. One day, as I was playing outside with my doll, I heard the sound of my father pleading, "Leave me alone, leave me alone." I looked up and I saw 2 heavenly gunmen leading my father out of our home. Out of fear, I ran straight on to my mother, who was crying, "Leave me alone, leave me alone." I held on so tight to her, and we witnessed my father getting kidnapped. After the second time, it became a routine to us, sadly. But thank God he heard our cries and our prayers. The United Nations issued 1,500 visas to Congolese victims to escape this tragic war. We immediately packed a couple bags, left everything behind to find hope and safety. We were off to the refugee camp in Kinshasa, which is the capital of the Democratic Republic of Congo. After a couple weeks of getting screened, we were off to a village called Longi in Cameroon. Longi was a breath of fresh air. Not the luxury lifestyle that I grew up in, but it was a safe haven for me. We lived in a desert. It felt like living on the surface of the sun. It had to be 120 degrees. Also, a tornado zone. We experienced a couple sand whales while we were there, ruined our belongings, but we didn't have much. We stayed in Longi for a year and a half. In the middle of this uncertainty, in the middle of this fear, We were provided 1 bag of rice, 1 bag of beans, 1 bag of onions, 1 liter of oil, 125 grams of beef per person, per family, every week. And that was it. That's when I learned the second lesson I want to share with you. You can always find love in the midst of adversity. Love is what I found in a refugee camp. The second my plane landed to JFK, I felt like I was finally home. It was an amazing feeling to see all the people. After living in a country that I didn't feel safe, it was refreshing to finally be somewhere welcoming and full of opportunities. I've heard great things about this amazing country, to novels, movies, book, music. We started our life in Austin, Texas. I found myself lost as a teenager. I didn't know what I wanted to do with my life because I came from a different background, different culture. During middle school, I experienced some bullying. After high school, my parents didn't understand what I was going through in my life. They didn't recognize the impact it had on me. I needed to find out who Jennifer Sebasigari was. I relocated to Houston, started living my life again and growing influence. One day, while surfing the web, I stumbled on Giada de la Trentes. I said, wow, she's beautiful. A foreign chef that cooked? It occurred to me, maybe I can be like her. Every time my friends would come over, I would cook for them. I would also cook for my family while I was in high school. Then in that moment, I knew I can do that. That's when I learned this third lesson I want to share with you today. You can always find hope in the midst of confusion. Hope is what I found in Giada. So I enrolled myself at Le Cordon Bleu Culinary Institute in Austin, Texas, landed one of the most prestigious internships at Walt Disney, climbed the ranks. I worked for the #1 restaurant in Houston, Oxheart. I started cooking for celebrities like Kevin Hart, Star Jones, Stormy Wellington, and many more. My life was becoming all it can be. Hope is what I found when I started applying myself by working in high-end restaurants, feeding celebrities, becoming one of the top food influencers with over 400,000 followers on all social media platforms. I started my nonprofit organization, Sebas Foundation, a foundation dedicated to refugees like me. Through this foundation, we earned a day, June 20th, from the city of Houston through Mayor Sylvester Turner. And I found that in the middle of doing what I love doing, there was so many opportunities for me to give back. Now I found who Jennifer Sebasigari is, my purpose. I realized that the joy I found in the middle of the traumatic war, combined with the love I experienced in the refugee camp, including the hope I found in America, all had one thing in common. Can you guess what it is? Food. Can you believe that? When you find joy, you see the love and you find hope. These are the ingredients that empowered me to live a life of contribution. My recipe for you is, if you want to live a life of impact and contribution, you only need 3 ingredients: joy, love, and hope. This is my recipe for life. Thank you. God bless.